Dave was so happy. When I look at it through the eyes of him for his birthday and the band collectively, they were really connected to all the faces.
Welcome back to Foos Files, the podcast for fans of the Foo Fighters. How you doing, everybody? Hope you're all having a great week. We're obviously a week on now from the big birthday bash at the Kia Forum in LA. It looked like an incredible evening, full of energy, full of emotion too. Really enjoyed watching the clips back of that, and obviously was really touched by certain moments that happened throughout the course of the evening. So what we've done this week is got a little crew together who were lucky enough to be at the show to tell us all about it. And as you're going to hear, a lot of the fun started more than 24 hours before the show, essentially, because, yeah, that queue lineup to get on the rail, it started very, very, very early this time, as our gang are going to tell us. So we might as well get straight to it. To talk us through the Foo Fighters live at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, we've got Raphaella, Keith, Teri, and then the two Cheryls, Cheryl Gant, and our good friend of the show, Cheryl Fineman.
Happy birthday, Dave! Sorry I can't be there. I think you understand. Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters!
So, welcome to the podcast, everybody. We're here to talk about last week's show at the Kia Forum in LA, which was great. The big birthday bash. Very jealous of all of you that got to be there. And it was a great night on Wednesday, but for some of you, it started on Tuesday. So, who wants to kick us off by telling us about the escapades outside the venue very, very early before it was even show day?
Well, yeah, just to add on that, this is Keith Anthony Sikora. It actually started when tickets went on sale, which was a month and a half ago, right? Crew?
Yes, true.
Yes, we stood out in line because if your listeners don't know, like, in order to get Rail Gang, like, first of all, it has to be general admission. If it's not general admission, then you're kind of just at the luck of the draw of whatever seats you get, and hopefully you get close. And if you're not able to get them like right away, then it's just they become really super expensive, and that's a whole nother ordeal. But the first thing is that they have to be general admission, and then from there, at least at the Kia, they allow you to stand in line to get the tickets for GA.
Well, let me jump in real quick. This is Raphaella Dreyer. This was a different type of show because the tickets went on sale at the box office, which was like, you couldn't get them through Ticketmaster this time when they announced it. So yeah, we started midnight. Keith, my friend Keith, he's the midnight shift always. You got to get a midnight shift in there,
Right?
Because that's the roughest one. But he started at midnight to 6 a.m. and then I picked it up at 6 a.m. and then the tickets didn't go on sale till noon that day. So that was round one.
So she was, hi, this is Cheryl. 5 minute. How are you guys? So I guess what they're trying to say is even before the clock ticks, I think Raphaella, didn't you guys clocked in a good almost day at that point already, right?
12 hours, just 12 hours.
12 hours, fine. Sorry.
But before this, I had met Cheryl for the first time at the Amazon show, which was just how long before that? Just a couple weeks.
It was right now Halloween, right? It was Halloween shirts. So it was Halloween. So it was Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah. So we formed a friendship there. So you could get 4 tickets. So that's how I had my husband, then I was getting one for Keith and one for Cheryl. Right. So yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let your fans, the people who are listening, know that it's not just the one night from the night before the show. I mean, it's a whole process. It's a labor of love, labor of food.
But it's nice to have a team. It's nice to have a team.
This is longer than my labor. I actually think this took longer than my full labor of my child. Sorry, I digress.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
too much information, that is. Yeah.
Sorry, TMI. TMI.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There was a caveat as well. Didn't you have to take a donation as well if you queued up for the charity? Yeah.
Yes, everyone brought like pasta and socks, and it was really nice. It was actually a lovely day. The day of getting the tickets was really, everybody was in a great mood. It was fun. It kind of felt like how I guess it felt in the 1970s and 80s, like really waiting in line all day long just to get the tickets. It was a great sense of community, and they had the LA mission, and everyone was there, taking donations, taking money donations, and yeah, it was actually a really lovely day.
Concur. Or night.
At night and day.
Brilliant. So jump forward then like a couple of weeks
Yes.
to whenever it was to, I was going to say the day of the show, the day before the show then. So why Tuesday?
The bat signal went out on Monday, actually, in our group. So there's all these people, in the know, I guess what you say, or, who's going to start the first line. So we thought it was all going to start on Tuesday. I mean, Tuesday morning, Tuesday morning, because the show's Wednesday. So we thought we were going to be really ahead of the game and go like Tuesday afternoon or something. Well, apparently people got there Sunday for the Wednesday night show. I mean, that's a little crazy.
That's a little crazy, right?
Even for us.
So on Monday, we got this information that there were, I don't know, maybe 10 people in line already. And I said, that's just, they win. They won. We're not. I go, we can do Tuesday, but I'm not going Monday in England.
Yeah, we'll set up for a participation trophy at that point.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Tuesday, I said, look, I can do the early shift. So I got there at 10:45 a.m. and actually Teri had just beat me by like 10 minutes or so at 10:30 a.m. And I was number 40. I think, Teri, you were 38 or something.
38.
I was number
Yeah.
39. This is Cheryl Gant.
I'm Teri Ramirez, and that was not the plan. So I woke up at 3:00 in Chicago to catch a flight in the morning. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to hang out at the hotel or whatever. Oh no, heard that. And I landed, changed in the airport, ran to the hotel, dropped off my bags, and just ran up there. But originally that was not the plan. But yeah, like Raphaella said, we had heard that people were already lining up. So we had to make a quick change of plans. But it was crazy how early people got there.
I think from Sunday to Wednesday, I think by the time the show started, I just want to go to bed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I brought a bunch of donuts, because we got to get that sugar rush coming in.
But the people that had been there since Sunday, they had propane heaters. There were tents. They were a lot more prepared than us. I had a beach chair.
And Raphael was kind enough to give me a jacket because it got cold. So yeah, so it was this collective kind of effort. I had arrived from Miami on Tuesday, right? Got a Tuesday at like 1. I went to my hotel, which was right next to the Forum. A lot of people stayed right next to the Forum. There's this property that's maybe within less than a mile of the Forum. So a lot of people had ended up staying there. They already booked that, a month in advance. And so I saw a bunch of familiar faces there. And so I dropped my stuff. I hooked over Raphaella was my Uber for 48 hours. She's so lovely enough to pick me up and drop me off and do all those things because I don't know the area. So I got there and I was shocked to see what I had seen when I arrived. The line, the chairs were set up, everybody was in place. I immediately was told to throw a number on myself. I mean, this was very I had never done this before. I typically take a seat. The guys know this. I typically take a seat with my family and don't don't put in the time I haven't had the opportunity to do it. So this was a lot for me to process. But they were so kind to kind of explain to me how the way this works.
But there was an unofficial,
Yeah.
book with names, which is nice. I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of organization. But and then as long as one representative in your group, so most people had a group of 3 or 4, was there in the line representing the group, it was okay. So that's how we were able to kind of tag in and out, which I
Right.
mean, you have to do.
Right.
And
This
they
is
normally
Cheryl.
don't do that.
Oh.
They just did that because you had to go in with the person who bought your ticket. So you don't have to give a name, or they don't have a book like that. But yeah, this time it was like really they accounted for everybody in line this time.
It's true. This is Cheryl, Cheryl Gant, and I'm friends with Cheryl Fineman. But like Keith was saying, the ticket buying process was kind of like cross country because I'm friends with Cheryl and one other person who lives in LA who's not on this call. I'm so sad. She bought my ticket, for me. And so I flew in from New York midnight of Tuesday. And so it was so cute. They had sent pictures of the beach chairs, the lawn chairs that were lined up. She's like, here's your chair, here's your blanket. And so when I got there, Cheryl had already been to the hotel. I think Cheryl was already at the hotel. And she said, just go find Keith. So I just stepped out of an Uber. I said, is someone here named Keith?
And there I was, me. That's
But,
me.
yeah. But he was the donut guy because I think he'd come around before with around with a box of was it Randy's Donuts, Keith?
Randy's Donuts. That's right.
And I was there from about 12:30 until about 7 in the morning when folks started coming back. And Shirley, the folks with the book and the names, she kind of marched around and was like, "Who's got your ticket? And what number do you have?" And so I think Teri and the ticket buyer and that person bought Teri and my tickets. And so Teri was number 38.
Yeah.
I was number 39. That was given to me by the folk who had and I was so shocked to see a book flipped open with my name written in it. I was like, what is it? I've never seen this before.
The book of Foo.
It's for the Foo. So yes, I was there in 40-degree desert weather. What was the temperature, guys? You think I'd have been ready. I came dressed like it was in California instead of New York. But for the Foo is what I say. So I was there from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Just me holding down the fort for that little group of ticket holders.
That's the hardest shift, by the way. So props to you and Keith, because nobody else wants to do that.
Just so your listeners know, obviously you can tell it is a labor of love. The Foo Fighters fan base, I don't want to say the word neurotic, but they're diehards. They just, which is why the whole books with your, getting people in line so that people aren't skipping lines. I mean, which is a testament to the band, I would say. Like
Amen.
Amen. You listen to them too. Yeah, right. Whether you just became a Foo Fighter fan or you've been listening to them since, even Dave with Nirvana days, at the end of the day, people love the freaking Foo Fighters. And that's why people stand in line for 3 days before, because also too, what we're talking about for the people listening is the coveted rail gang. Okay, that's the only reason why, we do crazy freaking silly Foo things like we do, is we all want to be up against that rail. There's a whole rail etiquette. There's a whole rail subculture that most people have no idea, because they're like, oh, you guys are so freaking lucky you're up against that rail. And we're like, dude, it's not luck. It's an art form. And you have to go.
We worked for it.
All these goofs to get there. But once you're there, it's all worth the while. So just so your fans know, if you ever want to get into that rail gang, you got to do the work. But the work is so rewarding at the end of the day, because you're up against that rail with the motherfucking Foo Fighters, man. Yeah.
I am now a disciple. I am a disciple of Keith and Raphaella, and I am and the many others of it is a whole vibe. It is a subculture. That is the exact word. Keith said it best. I can't speak better than Keith. Keith speaks better better for me.
It's hard to go back in seats after you've been on
Right?
the rail. It is so hard. You're just like, oh, I'm missing out.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not that. I guess that's a good parlay into the next. I guess that's a good segue into kind of where we were
Right.
going to go with this, right, Dan?
Just add one more. Can I add one more thing? Just for your fans that are like, that is so insane. I will never put in that amount of time to be on the rail. It's okay, because if you are friends or married to someone that is on the rail, my husband
Hashtag
get to
Andy,
stroll
don't
in at
Andy.
6 at doors open, and he was right behind me. And like
He
that,
looked good.
and it's a great
He looked
spot,
showered. It looked
because
good.
you don't have to put in 37 hours to be very close to Dave Grohl. Just wanted to add that.
And
Just
yet,
become
one
friends
more-
with
one more
with one of us
caveat.
crazies.
One more caveat to that, because Andy has a lovely, beautiful wife like Raphaella who does it. When you do that, again, up against that rail, it's like a mosh. I mean, it is life or death. You have to block out people because people want to start coming in. So Raphaella actually had to do that for Andy, and I've gone to other shows with Raphaella, the other food shows, and Raphaella is a tall, beautiful woman, and so she just sprawls out to get Andy's spot, because Andy comes in later. I mean, he's working, he's doing the stuff, but if Raphaella doesn't do that, there's no spot for Andy. And that's how crazy these things are.
Yeah.
These rail gang, they're called the rail gang mafia. Like, you got to really do the work. And if someone's going to come, they got to get there sooner than later, because as the time comes later, it's really difficult to hold those spots.
Well, and then one other thing, like at the Taylor Hawkins tribute, I was second row. My husband, they would not let him pass 15th row to get to us, because at that one, it was like your spot. No one could come forward on that show. It was
You
like
couldn't save a
sacred
spot.
ground. So that was a different experience, but yeah.
I was going to say also, because normally most venues you go in, you're going straight for the rail. This time you're in the round, so you've got a bit of a plan. Well, which side are we going? I guess
We thought.
Yeah. Hashtag we thought.
Well, that was that was
In theory, we thought we had it all
right.
worked out, but it was a little.
Because we were so fortunate to be in the Amazon show, where it was in the round. It was so much more intimate. We were, on the same level as the band. And so every spot on that round rail was incredible. So that's what we were hoping was going to be this experience. It was not.
It was a very high stage. It was a very high stage, and and there was an opening act, and so when we got in, we saw the drum kit, and like everybody else that was within, at the first, like, let's call it 75 people or something like that, everybody went to the same section, which was facing the opening act's drum kit. Lo and behold, the band opened up on the other side. And so, yes. So to your point, Dan, in theory, yes. In reality, for this particular show, given the dynamics that I just mentioned, we did not, the stage did not open with us facing the band full frontal, if you want to call it that. It was
Right.
facing their behinds and Dave's ass, as Dave so lovely expresses it to us. So and then as others can get into more detail, because the stage was high, because it was rotating, this is obviously where this conversation will go. You got snippets of their faces and snippets of their asses and snippets of everything in between. So it was very different than I was at Amazon, as Raphaella said, as Keith, the three of us were at Amazon. Very different. We were like face to face with them. No, there was no stage. It was literally just like a green room with us kind of hanging around the band. So entirely different dynamic for a multitude of reasons, that the height of it being the most challenging of all else, I think.
Yeah, I did notice. I watched a lot of clips, and I did notice Dave, at least between sort of singing parts, he was trying. I know he moves around a lot anyway, but he was trying to move turn around and move backwards quite a bit so he could go around see the different faces in the crowd. Whereas obviously normally he, as I say, he'll kind of go side to side when he's doing his guitar bits. I did notice he was doing that a lot more, and he was going up behind the kit and things like that. So he was obviously conscious of the sort of setup.
This is Cheryl G. One thing that they did do was he set up a mic stand on the opposite side of where the band was facing it at one point. So because I don't remember what song, but he came around to that mic to sing to whatever was on the opposite side of the band. So you're right, he moved around a lot, but there was uniquely a mic stand set up directly opposite where the band was facing, whatever direction the band was facing. So he did come around that a lot. He ran around the stage a lot. He moved aside a lot. He apologized a lot. He did say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're getting my rear end. You're gonna get the best of me." I have the worst. So yeah, he did move around a lot, but he had a mic set up over there. I don't know that he used it much though, but I think because he was kind of trying to look around and see like who's over here and who's over here and who can I see over there? Because like I said, the stage did turn quite a bit while we were there. But I loved it. I love being in the room with the Foo Fighters, man. That is my happy place. And all these 1, 2, 3, 4 other people were there, and thank God for them. Fantastic friends. Fantastic. I call them my Foo friends. I have some new Foo friends. Cheryl Fineman is an old Foo friend. So yeah, I was there with them. Tina's a new Foo friend. So yeah, worth it being in the room for me.
I just want to add, my husband said it really perfectly. He said, we had the best seats and then we had the worst seats or our standing positions, because I mean, not to sugarcoat it. I mean, there were parts where it was just like, seriously, like, I love this song. I can't see them at all. You just, it was like, it was just playing on the radio, and when they were in front of us, it was, the magic that we all, want and hope for and dream of. And then they would just turn and we're like, oh shoot, don't go. And our energy would just kind of, it was so high. And then when they'd leave, for like 3, 4 songs, 4 or 5, I mean, it was a long session, and I mean, it was great. We were all still having fun, but it wasn't the same as having them in front of us the entire time, which what we're used to being on the rail. So our energy would kind of go really high and then just low again, really high then low again. So
then you couldn't see.
Fortunately, because of the energy of this group of people, as you might be able to pick up on, I think we were lucky enough to kind of, because we're also grateful as much as it was a different type of setup, and obviously a one-off setup. This is not something I ever imagined the band doing like this again. And Dave was so happy. So if I kind of like what Raphael said, it was the best and it was the worst. But when I look at it through the eyes of him for his birthday and the band collectively, they were really connected to all the faces. And I know that kind of sucks for us, because we feel like the energy kind of got sucked away from us for those 4 songs or 5 songs, or even it felt like 6 songs at times. But they were extremely connected to whoever they were touching at that moment, and how freaking cool that they don't get to do that often. So I look at that vantage point, and then I'll pull back to us. We were fortunate because I think the energy of the people that are on this, and there are other people that aren't on this podcast today that carry that same energy and that same heart and that same soul as this group. And it's a very beautiful core group of diehard fans, beautiful people, and beautiful energy that I think when the band not disappeared, I won't use the word, kind of traveled around for those few songs, the energy, even though it felt kind of like the air of balloon came out, it felt to me like I had the sustainable energy of the people around me.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very fortunate energy. And it's I haven't been on the rail before, but I understand what Raphael, I understand what you're saying. It felt different, and I can see why it feels not so comfy and cozy, because you're looking for that kind of band hug. But you guys did create that in the absence of what the band was able to do consistently versus other shows. I hope that makes sense.
I'm not entirely sure where this thing is going to stop. It's just kind of moving on its own.
I get it in terms of the change in energy, because when they did it at the famous Wembley show in 2008, I was kind of stood in the corner, so I got a good view of two sides. But then when it went around the other way, and as you say, you're watching their backs, you're still enjoying the music, but there was a bit of, as you say, change of energy because they're not facing you directly. So I completely get what you mean.
You know what I did like was that a lot of times on the rail, the equipment or the speakers are in my way, and I didn't have that at all this time. I did see some footage from some people on the rail that they did have obstructed view from the equipment or the speakers, but I really loved that we didn't have that at all. And I did feel really close, like a lot closer than some of the other venues. So I did like that. But it was hard because when they would go to the other side, we were up so close that when you would look up, you couldn't see on the big screen. So if we were back a few rows, you would have been able to see what was going on the other side, but we didn't have that. But like Cheryl said, yeah, we were just feeding off each other at that point when they weren't right in front of us. It was still really cool.
Yeah, I think to kind of like surmise what we're all talking about, life has a tendency to be a lot about, expectations, anticipation, and then obviously you have the experience. I believe whenever you go see a show that's a normal show, when you buy an obstructed view, when you buy something behind it, like going in, that's what you got. So I think the expectation that we had after spending numerous hours, like probably a day and a half, collectively, maybe even 2 days with travel time and everything else, you're thinking you're going to be up in that front. And we knew it was going to be in the round, because even when we were trying to jockey for positions, when the seats went on sale like a month and a half ago, Raphaella had a friend that said that the first tickets that were bought were at this one side of the stage, like not where we ended up being, but one. And so now we're kind of panicking, because once you get in there, if you don't hold your spot, within seconds, someone's filling it in. So we're literally going freaking bonkers trying to figure out where's the best spot. Where's the best spot? Raphaella said there's going to be over there. So we have it. Now we're jockeying position. I got my leg outstretched. We got all the outstretched. And she goes over there, checks it out. She goes, oh, I don't know. I think this isn't going to work. Even though that one ticket was bought, the first one, this isn't going to be. It's not going to be over there. So she comes over. By that time, people moved over. And now we're like, dude, it was so freaking crazy. Like, things change on the dime. And again, you're only talking about maybe 200 or 300 people max, because everybody else is going to filter in. But these coveted rail gang spots, they're so prime real estate that, again, I think sometimes where we're talking about the highs and lows, if we knew it was just going to be Dave's ass that way, we would have been like, okay, that's what we bought. We knew we were going to do it. So to have the other experience, the like wah kind of thing, when it did turn around, I think that's what with Andy, Raphaella's husband, was saying. Like, it was the best and the worst, because here we are up here, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, it's turning around. And we get it on one level because he wants to share the whole experience with all of us Foo Fighters fans. But again, for Rail Gang Mafia folks, it just was like, because too, at the end of the day, not only didn't see the Jumbotron, because there was such a debriefing for like 3 freaking days. We're like going back and forth with each other. We're like, oh, this, our experience. And yet, when I saw other clips of other people that were there, I'm like, oh my God, that show was freaking awesome. I was there. But it was kind of hard to put it all like in that moment, because again, the way the stage was going around, we were just kind of like, we kind of got a little bummed out. But then when you looked at it and people were having so much fun, it all kind of just, again, came about perspective and about the experience of it. And again, when you have Foo family, talking about it, it just kind of, makes it, it's almost like therapy, like Foo therapy is like on so many different levels. You just get it. You have this other interaction with other fans, and we're like, okay, no, that was a freaking great show. It was great. And it was Dave's birthday. So Dave gets the hall pass to do whatever the fuck Dave wants.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's the boss, and you know what? He laughed, he cried, he sang, he screamed, he drank, he smoked. I don't know, maybe he smoked. I'm not sure if he smoked. He ran some laps. He clocked in some anaerobic activity. I mean, he had his friends there, he had his family there, he had colleagues there, he had extended family there. I mean, he was emotional, he cried. I mean, he had the time of his damn life. And so, like, just to be breathing in that room with like other people such as these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 people, that 10 of us that aren't here. I mean, it's like, yes, I think you're spot on, Keith. I think you kind of have to, in the moment, you're like, feelings always feel so intense in that moment, and then you take a step away from them and you kind of look at them outside of your body and you're like, holy crap. I mean, we all got to be there, and it felt like a family, no barbecue, but it felt like a familial thing, and it felt warm and cozy, and how awesome that for the cause, and it made perfect sense to be diluted in certain ways and not be this big over the top thing. And he's a different person. He's had tremendous loss, and Taylor passed, and things look different, I'm sure, from sitting from his seat now. And so, listen, I think we're all just super, super, super grateful. So take everything we're saying with, not a grain of salt, but, into perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, though, that this was definitely a show that I can go and look at other people's videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because we just didn't experience it all. This is a show that you can go back and look at, everybody else's experiences, and everybody had a different experience, which is kind of cool. Because it from different perspectives, and just like he said, like, oh my God, that was awesome. Oh wait, I was there. I can't believe we were there. So this was one I feel like you can reflect so much more on this whole night, because it had so many different parts to it and facets to it, different experiences.
It felt like a birthday party to me. I mean, it felt like Dave's birthday. It felt like being at a birthday party. You don't, it's not like, oh, this is for me, right? No, it's for the birthday boy. So of course, it's going to set up like that. And for him, he looked like he was having the time of his life. And that's what makes us attracted to him. He's so like, hey, come on, let's go have this party, But at the same time, he's more contemplative, like Cheryl was saying, But the party was fantastic. It was a fantastic party.
Cheryl, it's such an interesting way to say. So now I'm thinking about that, and I'm the kind of person that people on this phone know this. I think about it in the moment, and I have another thought. You're right. So when you go to a birthday party, and then you don't or when you go to like a wedding or bar mitzvah or whatever, quinceañeras, whatever you celebrate, and you go and you don't really get to talk to that person because it's their birthday, and then you leave and you're like, holy crap. And they're like, I'll catch you later. We'll talk later. Well, I knew I wasn't going to see a lot of you tonight because you had all these other people to see because it was your birthday. That's exactly what it felt like. And now that I'm thinking about it, that's exactly it. And that's exactly how we felt. In the moment we were deflated because he walked away. So seeing his ass is the equivalent of being at that birthday party where you're like, I didn't get to talk to you, homie. You're my best friend. But you know what? I'll catch you later. Well, we won't get to catch Dave. Well, we will get to catch Dave later because we will be on a rail again. And and Dave and the boys. But that's exactly what it is. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
I think to pick up on a couple of points that to come out of that, I think Cheryl saying it was like warm and cozy, and Raphaella saying about reflecting on it sort of later on and picking up on certain things that reminded you of how good it was from my point of view. So I'm over here, right? And so when I got up, the show hadn't long finished. And so I wake up and first thing I do is look at the set list and sort of go, on paper, well, it didn't sound exciting, but you're going, well, same songs that they've been playing for the last 6 months, no guests, no surprises or anything. And then later on went to work, came back, got around to looking through all the clips, and actually you kind of got on paper, it's completely different to what the reality was, because it was, say, no surprise songs or anything or guests. It was small by design, even though it's a 17,000 capacity arena. It was made to feel intimate, and it was kept as a strip, back to basics Foos show for a reason, and the atmosphere looked great in there. So, to say, on paper, very different to what the reality seemed like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just real quick, the first Foo Fighters show I saw was Dave's birthday back in 2015-16. So that one, in fact, I didn't even have a ticket. So I have created a thing. It's called the Art of Foo. you know, kind of like the art of the motorcycle repairman, the art of war, all these different like philosophical, spiritual kind of things. I have gone now like 3 or 4 shows without a ticket and have trusted the Foo Force, where I kind of just have a sign, say, hey, I'm a Foo Fighter, and it always works out. And that was the first one that I went to for Dave's birthday at the Forum, and met my friend Josh, who's now one of my best friends. But the point was that even for that one, which I think we expected this one to be like, which again, it's all about, again, which I was saying earlier about expectations. I mean, he had Paul Stanley, he had Jack Black, he had Slash. I mean, he had so many guests that just were coming over and over and over again. And look, that was a show in the round as well. So I think too, for his birthday, like we were kind of thinking, oh, is someone going to be coming out? And so when they weren't, again, it was just different. And so it's actually the art of Foo is to just really do the work, trust the Foo, and just let it go and surrender that it's going to be what it's going to be. Holding on to any kind of expectation of what you think, it does not do you or anybody in life really any good. So it is the Foo Fighter kind of fan base is like a whole like spiritual experience that again when we're decompressing and we're talking and too watching clips. We had a friend of mine they were texting me during the show like, oh my god, you were just on a jumbotron, like you're bringing the vibes, and they were like, oh my god, that was the best show ever. And so again, there was so much stimulus that was so amazing. And so even if we were talking about it, well, too, looking at the set list, it wasn't this or it wasn't that, they didn't have guests. But the more we looked at all these other people sharing those, we're like, wow, man, we were at such a beautiful freaking birthday. It was so freaking awesome. And even if it might have been different, it was still one for the record books that we were there, that so many people around the world, like you, Dan, that weren't there, that was like, wow, man, I would have done anything to be those guys. I don't care if I was there in the scene and seeing Dave's ass the whole freaking time. Like they were there. So that's again, it was just such a really cool experience, and to have all my Foo friends, you know, and now you, Dan, as part of the Rail Gang Mafia, you know, by proxy and by pseudo, like here we are again, like just talking about the Foo Fighters.
It's true.
I did want to say one thing about the guests, though. I saw a really funny comment that, I mean, you know, for days, everybody was, oh, who's going to show up? Who's in town? You know, everybody with the birthday party that that Keith had been to. And then obviously the Taylor Hawkins tribute with the amazing performances we all got to experience that night. I mean, and at the Forum, I mean, that's what the bar was set really high for what we thought was going to happen. So we almost felt like, I wish at the very beginning David just said, hey guys, it's just us tonight, you know, like
right?
At least let us know, because everyone was like, okay, someone's gonna come out, who's gonna like rappel from the ceiling, you know, like Kiss is gonna drop down, and you know, pyro and whatever. But someone said it was kind of like a night of tantric sex without the payoff. We're like,
yeah, right.
come on, who's coming out? Who's coming out? I mean, so that it was a little wah. So I just wish he had kind of said, like, it's just us. And like, we would have been like, all right, that's okay.
I mean, they were all there. They were just in the audience, Chad Smith.
Exactly. Well, no, I mean, I wish Chad and Josh and, you know, even McEnroe, we've all been to Chevy Metal shows and everything, and Chad Smith and friends. And we're like, just get up on the stage. Just come on. Even Scott Ian from, you know, Anthrax, that was his son's opening band, which was cool. He was like videoing his son, you know, for the, when they opened up, which was pretty cute.
I thought this is Cheryl from New York. I thought the punk band that opened for them was just so fitting. You know, that was the beginning of Dave's life too. The very thing that he presented on the stage, at the opening of the show, and someone was like, oh, I don't like punk. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. This is his birthday. That's his pick. It's appropriate.
Yeah.
You know, it fits. That's who he is. That's who he started off as.
And it's given an opportunity to a younger band as well, because they could get anybody to open for them if they wanted to.
Well,
they were literally like 10 to 16 years old, I think, was the age range, right?
You said the youngest
Teri?
was 14?
14.
Yeah, because Teri was right. Teri and Cheryl from New York were like right next to one of the moms of one of the kids that was like right in front of us. And everybody's like, hey, that's her mom. That's his mom. And she's like videotaping the whole thing. And
yeah,
well, I think that's like in line with the whole family thing. They're family to them, and he's been on stage with them before, and they jammed together, and it made sense. It made sense. I
And
think
during
you're right,
that
Cheryl.
during that opening, there was a mosh pit behind us going on. We didn't even know, but if there's a video, and Teri was like, "Oh my God, they were moshing behind us. We didn't even know."
No, it was probably like two people behind us, and we had like zero clue.
No clue.
No clue. That's
We were so focused on the stage.
we were.
Or the revolving stage, whichever we were focused on it, no matter what was happening on the stage at all
Sure.
points in time.
And then it was really cool because Teri made she made like a kind of a highlight reel as well. Like she's really creative and just had all these moments. And I think it's the good, bad, and the ugly of modern technology with phones, because obviously there's so many, and me included, are constantly taking video on it. And I know some people don't like that. And yet I think diehard rail gang fans, or anybody who is really a diehard kind of artist fan. Like personally, I believe dancing is one of the highest connections to our soul. And any artist, no matter what the genre, that can get you to move your body to music plays a real special place in my heart. And I've been going to these shows ever since I've been like 14, 15 years old. Before like the StubHubs of the world, if you literally did what we did, was camping out, like you used to get really good seats. My mom, and come from the Detroit area, my mom used to let me and my older brother skip school in the morning. So anybody that came through the Detroit area, we always got the first 5, 10, 15, 20 rows. I caught guitar picks, drumsticks, set list. I literally have, I know I'm going to come about, I literally have Michael Jackson's hat when he threw it out for Billie Jean in the 1984 Victory Tour with his brothers. So that's why when you're rail gang, you don't want to go. I just went to a show the other night. I do the work. I go there early. I stay there. I block it out. And once you're up there, you don't want to go anywhere else. So I guess if the whole thing with the podcast and with the Foo Fighters, because this is an artist that all of us have so much passionate about, and I really think they've shaped our lives in some way, shape, or form, to be able to go there and do it, and to be blessed that Dave chose to do it here in LA, is just a whole nother just experience and gratitude to these fine freaking lads, and just, again, you become part of the family, and then the outskirts of all the other fans, that you get this really tight bond that look, people think I'm fucking nuts. Like, they have no fucking idea. I don't even sometimes have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out sometimes, as they say. But the fact that, I get to go to these shows by the kindness and generosity of our fans and our friends. And, it's a really amazing experience. So I could not even be more grateful to be on this podcast and to have Dan like just kind of moderate it, and to, again, kind of relive it once more, but to have kind of a fresh, perspective like Dan and anybody else who's listening, just blows my mind and my soul and my just so much of me. And I'm so grateful for music. I'm so grateful for dancing, and I'm so grateful for the friends that I've met at Artist Show. So I just thanks Dan, like, for holding us down and
For
for
sure.
allowing us to reshare and rehash again.
For sure. I think you're right. I think it's the testament of those fellas on the stage that they're able, that you want the connection because you feel the connection. There are very few bands that do it this well. That it's that important to be there to experience it in the way that you've expressed it, because we're very fortunate to have this band still play and feel what we feel and enjoy it the way we do. It is gold, and we are very, very, very lucky, no matter what it looks like at the end of the day, whatever the night looks like. So having a fresh perspective, talking about it, digging in further, looking at it through another lens, we're very, very lucky to have them play. And I'll take it as much as I can until the wheels fall off.
Same. Cheryl from New York talking. Oh my gosh, I can't agree more. I'm probably the newest Foo fan in here. I started like 2022, and this is my 5th show. and trying to go to more for the same reasons. They really elicit an emotion in people, and it's things that people can't name, can't touch, but the band, the music, the lyrics, all of it, the whole thing is what keeps people just stuck to them and fanatical about them. Look at me, I'm new, and I'm yet flew from New York and slept on the street in LA overnight to get this trail. No, but
Welcome to LA.
that's the impact. impact of the band. It's got, these folks who are on this call are fantastic, great. I've known one of them for a couple years now. So, but at the same time, it's the band. It's Dave. It's the band. Peace to Cheryl. It's the band that makes people want to do this. That brings that out. They're perfectly capable. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'll be on the rail at the show in August. See you guys there.
Tell us
What time are we starting the camp now?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right now.
Tomorrow.
Hey Dan, when they're back in England, Dan, you can be our number one spot. You go bring it out right now, and we'll meet you there at somewhere in.
That can
Liverpool in June. It's a deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on, Dan.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Dan.
Right. Back to the LA show. Tell us about the atmosphere when it's showtime and Pat Smear comes on the screen to say happy birthday, Dave, and he does his little message.
I mean, who doesn't love that? I mean, come on.
He was fantastic.
I really wish he had been there though. It was sad. It's like I felt like something was missing. Well, obviously something was missing, but just him not being there that was kind of emotional,
Hard, yeah.
And because one of my favorite things is watching him drink champagne like out of the bottle during his breaks. That's like, I love it. I live for that. But so we miss that.
You're always going to miss Pat because he's never not smiling. So
I know. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got a lot of devil may care about him, and it's like, well, we're here. Let's go.
I didn't realize that was him on the drum kit with the crazy red eyes. That was him.
Yeah, that was the best.
It's like that thing where you've been together so long, you actually do it because you love each other for fucking decades. And then with the Foo Fighters, it really is all about the heart and the people here. And so I'd like to thank our entire extended family and crew for the last 30 years of this. But there's no way that I could not do this. So this song is for Taylor. So let's hear it for Taylor Hawkins. We got a song for her.
And then the other bit that's the other kind of standout moment that has done the rounds a lot online is Under You, when Dave really had his emotional moment. And I guess going into this, people, it wouldn't have occurred to a lot of people, even though it's quite obvious, that it is the first time they've played there since the Taylor gig and how that was going to come back to him on the night, really. So yeah, really special moment, wasn't it?
Oh God,
I think
yeah.
everyone was
he was but he even if you kind of look at the footage and now, because we got his back for that. So if you look at the footage back, he was even leading up to the whole conversation and how hard it was to come back to the forum, and that being the last time that they were at the forum, and that was such an emotionally heavy experience for all the fans and the family and the band. And you could tell he was welling up even before the shows, even before the song started. And I was shocked that he did not pivot and was able to even get through it at all. I mean, he was holding back tears, the head, just even talking about family and talking about the presence and how he has to keep doing this and his why. Not that he needs to justify that to anybody, but we get that this is survival for him and the guys. And so it was very heavy prior to the first note, and it kind of just spiraled to some extent from there. And I hope it was cathartic for him, and I hope he felt that the room was a nice, warm, extended family and all kinds of love and support. And he seemed like he felt like he had that to release in the way that he did.
Agreed. And the interesting thing is that's the only new song that he did for the whole show. It's the only one. The one that was dedicated to Taylor, which I thought was fantastic. I was a blubbering mess. You can ask the people here. Oh, I was just like in tears, completely in tears, just in tears.
Hey, there's video. I'm so sad we didn't get to see it live, but there was a hawk circling the forum when we were in line about to go in that someone was able to capture. It's really a beautiful video. You can find it on Instagram. But so Taylor was obviously there.
It probably just got taken for granted a little bit because they did the tour in 23 and 24 and he mentioned Taylor every single night. And then I suppose if the Foo Fighters were a sports team, right, this is like their home field, the Forum, isn't it? And
Yes.
so it probably just got taken for granted a bit how emotional it would be going back there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sure.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
There was not a dry eye, though. I was thinking about the security guards that were in our faces. They were probably thinking, why are all these people crying?
Right.
Everybody.
It was like, did you hear this like collective like? Didn't you guys hear? Is it me? I felt this like collective like, like this. So it's like sigh.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
see that?
Absolutely.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's true.
Any other highlights from the show in terms of particular songs or moments that anybody wants to pick up on?
Stacked Actors, man, that is my jam. That's one of the first Foo Fighters songs that I heard when I first became a fan. And I was in seventh heaven, even though I was looking at a profile of the band. They were like facing, I don't know, to our left, I guess, when they were playing that. But I just was like, now I can die. I'm probably the oldest person in this group of folks. But I was just beside myself seeing and hearing them play Stacked Actors. That's got to be my favorite song. I love all of their songs, but that's one of my favorites. So to see it live for the first time was very exciting. Very just, oh my God, I could feel the electricity in my fingers. I love that song.
And for me, it's because those club shows were impossible to ever make it to. But then when I saw that they started playing Exhausted again, and that's just, I wasn't around. I've been around a long time, but I wasn't around that long of a time. So that was really, for me, that was To Hear Live it was really, really special. So yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, and now I'm this Everlong to me is one of the, like, obviously it's a classic and it's this, but to me the lyrics in Everlong, the second verse, to me are literally some of the best lyrics in rock ever. When he says, "Breathe out so I can breathe you in," like
Mhm.
I could actually start to cry if I really because it's so I am a it's so like you could take those lyrics and put it to anything in life. You know, like I am like that's how powerful those lyrics are to me. And it's not even about me and another person. It's about life in general. Like when you really breathe in life, man, like to breathe it back out, like you have this this symbiotic relationship to the universe. Um, it's like it's crazy. So like when I hear those lyrics, I get like this all the time because I really feel they are literally what's like they might be the best lyrics in rock and roll. And so when it comes, man, it's like all time stands still, and yet the only constant in the universe, constant change. But it just holds that space that like, fuck yeah, Dave. Like whatever you did when you made that song, those lyrics, I cannot thank you enough because it is the art of Foo. Like it has so many different connotations and meanings to me, and I think to anybody who's Foo fan or not Foo fan. Like when you really listen to it, I'm like, wow, man, that is extremely, extremely powerful, man. So
It really
Yes.
is.
yeah.
Just truth. It's the truth.
It's true.
Absolutely. Any more highlights anybody wants to share?
Well, the one thing that was missing the most from me was where were the balloons at the end? Where are the fucking balloons? And so many people that were like, there weren't even balloons. It was very stripped down birthday party.
He got a cake.
We needed something.
He did get a cake, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He got a cake. So yeah.
He got
Oh,
us.
we got a cake.
He got all of us.
We did sing him happy birthday. He got
We did.
That's true.
We did.
And he got to see everybody at the party. How about that?
This new lobster doesn't need balloons. I guess. I guess that's maybe that's maybe
Right.
maybe that's the story.
And it's so amazing that they raised 100,000. I mean, they raised money that for 100,000 meals for the LA mission and
Come on,
the.
man.
I mean,
Worth
that's
it.
incredible. So we were all a
Worth
part of that.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. Worth it.
Worth it. Worth it. Yes.
Yes.
Good times for a good cause.
Absolutely.
That's the takeaway. That's for sure the takeaway.
If you know a song, don't be afraid to sing it. You're probably singing it better than I am. Just fucking belt it out. If you don't know the words, look at the fucking aging human being next to you and just do what they're doing. That's all you gotta do. Look at the old guy next to you. Just fucking sing that. Odds are he's been listening to K-Rock since the fucking early 80s.
Thanks so much to the gang for coming on and sharing their experiences. Again, we love to hear that passion for seeing the band and hearing the lengths that people will go to as well, which whether it means queuing up for 3 days beforehand or 2 days, no problem at all. So that's it for this week. Tasmania, you're next. We're going to hopefully get a group of Aussie fans on next week to discuss the show over there on Saturday. Very much looking forward to the reaction to that. In the meantime, if you are enjoying Foos Files, please do hit the follow or subscribe button on your favourite podcast app to make sure you get instant access to any new episodes. Take care and have a great week. See you next time.